What is up, Fanatics? It's 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of Home Theater Fanatics Live. Tonight is episode 173, and we have another really awesome episode for you tonight. So, joining us again from Samsung is Jim Keycheck. Jim, how are you?
Hey, Giles, I am doing fantastic today. Thank you for having me back. I guess I did pretty good the first time, or else you wouldn't invite me back a second.
You totally passed the bar. I mean, the expectations were a little low, and we were like, oh, this Samsung company, nobody's ever heard of them before, but you did well enough that you totally can come back.
Awesome, thank you. Maybe
Oh,
there's a
that's
third in
fun.
my future.
Right on. Oh yeah. So for folks that don't know or didn't see the prior episode, we talked about a lot of items that were going to be released, and you teased a few things, and you're like, I'm going
Yeah,
to come back and we're going to talk about it. And so I've been patiently biding my time, and I'm like, hey, he's coming back. He said he would, and finally here you are. And there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight that I'm really interested in, because I think it'll directly impact me and the way that I consume content here at my home, and my family does, because there's one product in particular that I really want to get my hands on, and I'm excited because I think we're going to talk about that tonight. But before we get into that stuff, maybe you can tell people a little bit about yourself and the kinds of things that we're going to talk about, and then we'll jump into it.
yeah, I'd love to. So my name is Jim Keycheck. I am the vice president of the home audio division here at Samsung. Today I'm really excited to be back to be able to talk about some of the new models that actually they're launching now. Some of our flagship products, our Q990, which is an 11.1.4 channel Dolby Atmos soundbar. I'm going to talk a little bit about our new frame TV matching soundbar, our S800, really ultra thin, ultra slim with some amazing sound quality. And then I'm going to talk about something not soundbar related, but we're going to talk about some of the new sound towers that we're launching. And these are our party audio speakers with the lights, and the deep
It's
bass.
pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool product. So really, really excited to be able to talk about that as well.
Great. Now, as we move into those things, just so everybody knows, there's an outline, and we have things to talk about tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Samsung and how Samsung's doing these days, right? So, as we went through the time of troubles and we've come out, how's Samsung doing? It feels to me like you guys really kind of took the horse by the reins and said, "Giddy up, we're doing stuff," right? Because as I look at the website, it's not just audio that you guys are going nuts with, but you've got all kinds of computer equipment, and you've got television. It's really crazy the amount of gear that you're releasing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great thing about Samsung, right? Because it's not just focused on one product category. It's not just audio, or it's not just TV. We're a multi-category company, global company. Doing home appliances, computing, mobile phones, of course, TVs, sound bars. So we're really across. Basically, we're able to offer consumers a solution for every room of their home, right? For their kitchen, for their cooking, for their offices, with computing, for on the go with mobile phones, for TVs and sound bars for the home theater. So we're basically a company that offers everything for everybody.
Right. And I think in many of these cases too, these products work together to create synergies, right? So if you think about a Samsung television and a Samsung soundbar, they're really designed to work together, right? And there's specific technologies that kind of facilitate that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's one concept that I'm really delivering a message on this year, and that's the concept of 1+1 = 3. Right. So you're probably asking what does that mean?
Sure, sure.
So the TV by itself is a great product, has some awesome technology in it, best picture quality out there. And then you have our sound bars, right, which are amazing in terms of their sound performance. And a lot of that is due to the innovations coming out of our audio lab in Valencia, California. A lot of great technologies in there as well. So by themselves, they're great products, right? But when you pair them together and use them together, you unlock so many more features that you normally wouldn't be able to do if you're using them by themselves, or if you connected another brand audio to one of our TVs. So that's really, you're getting much more than just the TV and the soundbar at that point. You're unlocking so many extra features. So that's the 1 + 1 = 3 concept.
Yeah, and well, there's one product, because you mentioned the frame, right? And I've got a frame television, and I think it's just the best thing ever, because it really, in the room where we have it, it really fits the need, because we wanted something that would look good when it's not in use, and then we could actually use it as a television.
Right.
But in the past, getting sound for that was kind of painful, right? Because there wasn't. But we'll talk about that, because you guys have the solution. But you just said something that I'm interested in. Tell me a little bit more about this Valencia Ca location. I mean, what do you guys got going on over there? That sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's an amazing state-of-the-art facility, Giles. It's so we opened this lab in 2013, and really, when you look at the lab and really what they're all about, like their mission is to inspire the world by making great sound, and that's what they've really been doing over the past couple of years. And it's through all of these innovations that they're introducing our new transducers and different audio technologies. We actually have 2 anechoic chambers right there at the facility itself. I mean, when you look at it, two. A lot of companies don't even have one, right? So we actually have 2 different ones depending on what they're testing for, right? When you look at it, consumers use audio in their home, not really just sitting on a table or in the middle of a room. A lot of times with a soundbar, it's on a back wall, right?
That's
it's
right.
Underneath your TV, it's mounted on a wall. So, there's ways of them being able to do the testing in these chambers by having products mounted and getting real true measurements. So they really they worked hard there. They actually developed for us the first Dolby Atmos soundbar in the industry. That was in 2016. It was the HWK 950, and that was all inspiration coming out of that lab there. So, and from there, right? Look where we are today. We've been number one in the industry from a sellout perspective in dollars for over 7 years already, based on MPD data, and not only number one just in overall soundbar, but in the premium section, right? So when you look at $1,000 and above, we have number 1 market share, and we're really becoming or have become a major player in premium audio, especially with our Q9 series of products, and that's one of the models I'm going to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah, and for everybody watching, I promise this isn't a paid advertisement. I don't make any money for this, but personally, on the first floor of my home, I made the decision, myself and my wife together, that we're going to migrate all to kind of a consistent platform for all of our technology, because we want things to work together well and have kind of the same aesthetic and that kind of thing. So, over the next, I don't know, this will take us a couple of years, 3 years or something, who knows. We're going to transition everything to Samsung, including the washer and dryer, the refrigerator, the oven, the microwave. We've already did the breakfast area with the Samsung television, and we need the sound bar. So that is really cool that the sound bar for the frame has been released. And then we'll move into the living area. Now, our primary viewing is down in the basement in the theater, but we've got a UST projection set up there and all that kind of stuff. But we kind of want to jump into the ecosystem and feel and be able to talk about what that's like. So it's exciting that you guys are releasing these products that enable us to kind of do that and build this ecosystem. And like you said earlier, of everything from, smart refrigerators to washers and dryers to, voice enabled televisions that display artwork, right? So it's cool that we can do that and stay inside of a kind of a brand ecosystem. So I don't know if everybody watches, just keep your eyes out, because over the next several years you'll see this transition, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. But okay, enough about me, because this is really about
That's awesome. Glad to
Jim.
hear that.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And the Valencia location, that sounds really awesome, because it sounds like it's just a big hub of R&D right there in California.
Yeah.
And now Valencia, that's in Southern California, right? Or am I incorrect about that? I don't know.
It's north of LA.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're what, like up towards Santa Barbara, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit past there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I kind of understand now. That's great. What a beautiful location to have to go work at.
Oh, I love going in there. It's I always, I'm always in awe when I go in there, and I get to see everything that they're doing. I get to enter the Anechoic Chambers. I mean, it's an amazing experience, quite frankly.
Absolutely. Now that's cool. Now, so to talk, I think we'll transition a little bit into the products and the new lineup and that kind of stuff. Now, I as you think about these products and how they fit into the marketplace, some of the things that I hear called out are, we need to think about price, we need to think about features, we need to think about the configuration and the compatibility. Is that a big piece of the design criteria for these devices? I mean, can you give any view into, what are the pieces of these things that you try to put together to create a product that's going to be appealing to people?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Yeah. And Giles, we actually have, a lineup, a product that's really made for every budget, for every need. So we look at that, right? We do a lot of consumer research, when we look at introducing new products and how they're using the products, what things they're asking for. A lot of it is compatibility between their TV and their soundbar, and we put a lot of effort into that over the years of making sure that the consumers can get really the best optimal experience when they use a Samsung TV and a Samsung soundbar. So, like we actually, started that concept a long time ago, like back in 2009 when we first introduced TOC. I don't know if you remember that, but that was Touch of Color, and we introduced a TV that had a red.
I do remember that, because I think I was on the market for a plasma television, and I remember the Touch of Color. I totally remember that. I hadn't thought about that in years.
Yeah, so we actually introduced, that was more from a design perspective, because design is really important too for the consumers. But so that was a TV that had a red trim around the bezel.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one that had a gray color, and we introduced sound bars with the same exact trim, around the bar, either red or gray, so that when you pair it up with the TV, like, consumers would look at it and say, I have to have that, right? They look so good together, right? They blend together. So that we really started back then, and even when you go, even more recent, but in 2015 when we introduced curved TVs, we introduced a curved soundbar, right, to go along with that product. So cosmetically, it looks like it blends and fits right in. But it's not only about cosmetics, right? So back then we introduced the ability to have one remote control to control everything, right? So you can use your TV remote control to control all your soundbar functions as well, not just volume up and down or power on and off, but like all the different settings, the EQ settings, the bass settings, that can all be done, with the TV remote. And that was really, from a technology perspective, that was really one of the first things that we did for those compatibilities. And then we introduced, wireless connectivity. But really I would say the big innovation came in 2021 when we introduced Q Symphony. And what Q Symphony does, it allows you to use the TV speakers and the soundbar speakers simultaneously, right? So typically, in the past, if you tried using both together, there would be a delay, right? And you wouldn't be able to hear what was going on. Or if you use, another brand soundbar with our TV, it would never work that way, right? So we introduced this technology that allowed you to use the TV speakers and the soundbar speakers simultaneously. And that was really the big innovation in 2021. And, consumers really loved it. So we actually expanded upon that for 2022. And we've taken that Q Symphony to the next level, where, in the past, 2021, when we had it, it was only using a couple of the TV speakers. It wasn't using all of them. But this year in 2022, it now utilizes all of the TV speakers and all of the soundbar speakers. So, in an example with one of our, higher end premium TVs that have 6 speakers, if you pair that up with our 11.1.4 channel soundbar, you're getting 22 channels of audio for your TV and your soundbar right in your home, right? And this Q Symphony, that's only a feature that you can unlock when you use the Samsung TV with the Samsung soundbar. And the other cool thing is, right, Dolby Atmos, right? Everybody loves the Dolby Atmos experience, right? Being able to hear things going over your head and really giving you that immersive sound experience. Well, in 2022, a lot of our higher end TVs have top firing speakers with Dolby Atmos. So we have Dolby Atmos enabled TVs, and through Q Symphony, when you use a Dolby Atmos soundbar with the Dolby Atmos TV, you're actually getting dual Dolby Atmos, which is another great, a feature, a technology for consumers to bring right into their home. And again, this is something you can only unlock when you use these 2 products. And last but not least, I mean, this is the one thing I'm really super excited about is, we're the first to introduce wireless Dolby Atmos over Wi-Fi. So you'll actually be able to, get Dolby Atmos without having to have an HDMI cable. So it's less cables, less clutter, and really gives you, a much more cleaner look, from an aesthetic perspective. So, man, there's so many great new technologies. Every year I keep saying to myself, I'm going to wait until next year, because I know it's going to get better. And it's going to be tough to wait till next year because, for me, like the features that we're introducing now, like these are amazing. I'm super excited to introduce these into the marketplace for this year.
That's cool. And I was flipping through the soundbar section of the website as you were talking there for a minute, and you can find a product just about for every budget and every use case, right?
Yeah.
If you want to start out at with a very small all-in-one soundbar, $130, right? It's tough to get any less expensive than that and get a piece of gear that actually is worthwhile. And all the way up to gosh, what, 1,500, 1,700, something like that.
Yeah, well,
top end.
our new 990, which will be up there soon. It'll be our HWQ 990. That'll be $1,899.
Right on.
And that'll be our flagship piece. So really excited about that product. But yeah, I mean, depending on the consumer's budget, all ththose all-in-one sound bars, those are great for smaller rooms, for apartments, for a secondary, tertiary room, right? So, we have those solutions for those applications. And, as you go up the line, like the full-blown 11.1.4 for somebody who wants that true immersive home theater experience, and then everything in between we have, from just, basic 2.1 channel sound bars to 3.1 channel, some with rear wireless built into the box. We're actually expanding upon that this year. There'll be 2 premium models in our 9 series that have rear wireless included in the box. And these are true powered speakers, right? You just have to plug them into a power outlet. There's no other cables or anything that need to be running. And like on our 990, Q990, our premium flagship model, those rear speakers actually have front firing, side firing, and Dolby Atmos up firing speakers, all within just a single rear wireless speaker, right? So when you have,
and all they need is a power connection.
That's all you need, yeah. And we make it so simple for the consumer, right, to set these up and to use them. It's pretty easy to use right out of the box.
Right on. So I want to talk a little bit more about that, but I can't wait any longer. The thing that I want to know about, and the thing I've had about 1 billion people ask me about, I think is this product, the S801B. I think this is the right one. So for people that have a frame television, right? people, I've had, I don't know, 100 people come and say, hey, we saw this video where you install the frame, you did the install. What do you do when you want to upgrade sound? What is the best solution when you want to go into like a sound bar type of scenario? And is the 801 the solution for that now? Is that the correct model?
Yes, there's actually two, right? So, when you look at our frame TV lineup,
Right.
actually the best selling, the frame TVs come without the bezels, right? So consumers can customize them.
That's right. Yep.
Make it their own and buy the bezel that they want. And the white one is actually our best selling. So because of that, we introduced two colors. We introduced the S801, which is the white version, and then the S800, which is the black version.
Okay.
But
all right. So these are the same. They're just color different.
Color differences, yeah. But it's not just limited to those two colors. So I'm really excited to also announce that later on in the second half, we're actually going to be introducing two bezels as well that actually can fit over the sound bar. So if you have a brown frame around your TV or a teak, we'll actually have a bezel that you can put over your sound bar so it matches
really
the TV as well. So we have four colors covered. Yeah.
That's cool. So, if people, if you look on the screen now, this is kind of what it could look like in your home to add the sound bar to a frame television. And this is wonderful, right? Because you need something that doesn't take away from that aesthetic, right? You bought the frame for a reason, right? You wanted it to look like a picture frame that's hugging the wall and isn't obtrusively screaming out, look at me, I'm a TV, but you can use it as a television. And I think this is a wonderful solution. I mean, it looks great, but being able to then take this and put this bezel on it to give it the same color, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I would not have expected that. I would have expected the soundbar, you just buy it and whatever color it is, that's what you got,
Yeah, so like I said, so you can buy the black by itself, the white by itself, or in the second half, those two colored bezels. So in total, we basically have four different colors, on there. And this soundbar does come with a subwoofer as well. So the sub is included in the box. So it's not just a bar. But when you look at this bar itself, right, it's a razor thin bar, from a width, a height
look at
perspective.
it. It's tiny
from a depth perspective. And believe it or not, that bar actually has true up-firing speakers for Dolby Atmos as well.
Yeah, right? I think so you can see a little bit right here at the top. It's
exactly right.
Yeah, so you can see a little bit of the grill.
Yep. Yeah, so there's the left and right. There's actually a dedicated center channel as well for vocals to be able to hear voices better, and then two up-firing speakers as well to give you that Dolby Atmos experience. So yeah, this one actually this is on our site now. It's we have it up there for pre-order right now, and it's a great time to buy, right? Because we do what we call like everyday bundles with our TVs. And this particular bar normally, would have $100 savings when you buy it with, one of our Samsung TVs. But during this pre-order period, you'll get an extra $100 savings and get $200 off.
That's significant.
The pre-order, yeah.
Yeah, that's super.
So we're super excited about that.
Now, this might be getting into the weeds too much, but my assumption is that on the sound bar, you'll mount it to the wall somehow, right? But then from a connectivity point of view, you need to get power in there to it. And then would you on the inside of the wall then run like a HDMI cable into the little external box for the frame TV? Is that generally how this would be done?
Well, this also has wireless connectivity.
Does it really?
To our frame TVs as well. So you don't even have to worry about using an HDMI cable to connect it to the TV. You can do it wirelessly. There's no issues with that. Yeah,
that's outstanding.
So it makes it a really nice, clean installation.
And will this work as well with the 2022s and the 2021 models?
Yeah, so just the basic wireless connectivity, right? Either via a Bluetooth or via Wi-Fi, will work with 2021 and 2022.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So you're
Well,
all set, right? If you have a frame TV from last year, you can still add this on and still have that perfect functionality.
yeah, that's exciting. And to get back to what you said about the remote control, and I know this isn't like a super exciting thing, like, oh my God, the remote control, but it really is nice when you can just take the remote control that comes with your TV and just use it for and you don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Even today, one of the painful pieces in putting a system together is figuring out that universal remote control. And they've got CEC and stuff like that that helps with those kinds of things nowadays. But
Right.
sometimes it's not as flawless an experience as you'd like it to be, and you have to go in and turn it on here and then go to this other thing, turn it on, and then sometimes you turn this one on and they get out of sync and the other one turns off, and all kinds of weird stuff happens, right? So that's really nice. And then for folks that haven't looked at the newer Samsung remote controls, they're solar. And that's another thing that it doesn't seem like, oh my goodness, this is a big deal, but it's kind of a big deal, right? This remote control, you never have to do anything to it. It just works kind of forever, right? And I don't know, that to me is pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different new eco-friendly things that we're doing, and that's one of our big ones, right? Because we're eliminating so many batteries that fill the landfills every year. So
right.
Yeah, that's something we're super proud of.
Yeah, and just to touch a little bit more on the Q990B. So this is going to be the super big flagship model, right? And
correct.
And you mentioned that. So I'm going to see if I can pull up maybe it's the predecessor.
It would be the Q950. Yeah, I'm looking at it there right now. You have it up there. So that's the 2021 model. That's also an 11.1.4. Cosmetically, shape-wise, it's very similar. But what we've done this year, and this is across all of our models, we went with a family look this year. All the way up from our entry models up to our flagship premium. Material may be a little bit different. So like on our flagship premium, the entire sound bar is a metal design. We moved away from the cloth design that we had last year and went with a full metal design. So it really gives it a much more premium look, a higher end premium look. It matches with the TVs a lot better. We're also introducing a new sub with the 990 as well. But we have what's called a acoustic lens technology that actually helps to disperse the bass more evenly, and get better bass performance. So that'll be a new feature that we're launching on there. And then the new piece will have all that. It'll be the next generation of Q Symphony that I was talking about, right? So, being able to use it with your TV, having wireless Dolby Atmos, dual Dolby Atmos with your TV. And that model, and some of the others are really packed with so many other great features. So we even have, features in some of our sound bars here. It's called a Space Fit Sound. And that's an auto calibration.
Say that one more time. It's called what?
It's called Space Fit Sound.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's a auto calibration technology, and
nice.
So it actually has the microphone built into the product, and unlike other products out in the marketplace where when you do an auto calibration, maybe it has a microphone or you use your phone and you set it that one time. But when you think about it, right, room configurations change, right? Just you're doing some modifications, right? You're changing your room. You may be putting up walls, taking down walls, moving furniture around. Well, the cool thing about our calibration system, this Space Fit Sound, is that it's constantly measuring the room acoustics, and it's constantly adjusting for that, right? So if you do something different to the room, you bring something new into the room or take something out, you don't have to worry about auto calibrating it again, right? The system will automatically do it because it's constantly doing it daily, and adjusting to give you the absolute best sound quality possible every time that you listen to it. So that's a pretty cool new feature, that we're introducing on that.
Yeah, that's great. Now, and this new flagship model, It seems like this is going to be perfect to mate with, the new uh, 8K 2022 televisions, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Feels like that's going to be the kind of the match made in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a great match to go with our premium lineup of TV, right? Our 8K TVs, but even just some of our other QLED lines, this is a great model to have, just to deliver, an amazing sound experience, right? So if you have an amazing picture, even if it's one of our older, higher end TVs, right? You can easily
Hmm.
pair this thing up, and you'll have some really great audio, performance right in your living room right there, or wherever you have it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to call out for people that are watching, outside of the sound quality and all the advantages and features and that kind of thing that you get with this type of setup, for me, one of the pieces that is absolutely critical that really makes this kind of soundbar environment um, something that you want to put in your home is just the ease of setup and placement, right? So,
Yeah,
back in the day, if you wanted to do a surround sound kind of system in your room, it was kind of a heavy lift, right? Because you needed to get an AVR, and you had to buy all these speakers, and sometimes you needed amplifiers, then you had to run cables all over the place. Um, Today, really, what I'm hearing is that you buy the soundbar system, you set the soundbar, under your television or mount it, take the sub, set it over, mount it, take your surrounds, set them down, plug in power, and you're done,
yeah,
right? There's some
yeah,
click, 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 but you're not, let's drill some holes and let's run some speaker wires and look. No, it all talks
yeah.
back, and it does all the Dolby decoding and whatnot, and you're good to go. And then, every app that you could ever possibly want is going to be built into the television, right? So these are smart televisions, and they run your OS. And I've been, when I first set up my frame, I was all like, what are all these billions of television
Hmm.
channels that you just get? Right. So,
Yeah, it's
for
pretty
folks that haven't
amazing.
bought a
Yeah,
TV in a while, you get a whole ton of just Samsung channels that are just part of it. You don't do anything. You get on the internet and blam, there they are. And
yeah,
then you add in all your streaming apps that you want. And for 99.99% of people out there, that you've got what you need, right? You're done.
exactly. Yeah,
So
I
I,
stream. I watch everything off streaming. Yeah, myself.
yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. So now the Q990B, that's going to be released this month or
This month,
soon.
yeah, yeah. No, it's going to be released in June, later on this month in June. So, you may start to see it pop up at retail at the very end of the month, or maybe beginning of July. But we are shipping this month, so that product is it's current. Like, anybody who's interested in it and really wants it, you don't have to wait for it. It's going to be available, pretty soon. So.
That's awesome. And then for folks that want to actually take a look at it with their eyes, I assume that this will be in some of the big box stores and stuff like that where they could actually go and see one. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It'll be at retail as well, so people will get to be able to see it and listen to it in person. Really to understand, the benefits of having that true 11.1.4, channel system. It's hard to imagine, when, just trying to describe it, but when you hear it, like, hearing is believing it. It's amazing. And I would also invite, viewers to go out and experience the S800 and the 801 as well, the frame matching soundbar. Because when you look at that soundbar, you'll say, wow, that thing is so ultra thin, so razor thin. I wonder how it sounds. And people get blown away when they hear it. They're like, looking like, is there something else behind it? Like, where's all this coming from?
Right.
It's really very spacious and room filling, and you would not expect it, when you look at it. So, like, you're able to add this product that really blends into your home. Maybe becomes a little bit invisible. It's doesn't stand out there as much, and still be able to have awesome sound quality, Dolby Atmos sound quality, to be honest. So, yeah, I would invite, everybody to definitely check them out and take a listen.
Yeah, we'll be talking more about those products over time on my channel, so people can keep their eyes peeled there to get more details. All right, so there's one other product that I want to bring up and talk a little bit about today, and this is something that I don't have any practical experience with. I've never owned a product quite like this before, but living in Colorado, and not really wanting to keep a lot of stuff outdoors, this seems like it could be a really cool product for, when I want to, grill a little bit, cook out or whatnot, but I don't want to have something that's
Yeah.
out there all the time. And this is the sound tower lineup. And I'm going to pull this up so people can see what this is if they're not familiar with this kind of product. All right. So which is the right one to look at? The this
Yeah. So
ST50B?
yeah. So there's two models that we just launched. You can see them right there. So it's the MX ST40B and the 50B. And these are our what we call sound towers. And what's really exciting about these products, like they're great for for outdoor gatherings, for indoor gatherings. To take it tailgating. We actually have these two models actually have batteries built in. The previous versions that we had were still plug-in units, require you to plug it into to an outlet. But this year you can choose to do that, or you can do it wireless. So you could take it outside, take it to the park, take it to the beach if you wanted to, and it has IPX5 waterproof rating on it as well, right? So it could take a low stream of water. And from a lighting perspective, it's got cool LED lighting, up and down the left-hand side, of the product. The one cool thing, that's different about our product versus a lot of the others out there is that we have what we call a bi-directional design, meaning that we don't have the speakers just facing one way. We actually have them facing two ways, and with that, you actually get double the amount of speakers, right? So
right, you can kind of see it in this photo here. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit.
Right. So instead of having, you look at some of the other products in the market that are, like, if you call it a unidirectional design, that only have two speakers facing forward. Ours is bi-directional with two speakers on each side, and really what that does, it really helps to give a much wider listening range, right? So it's not just focused on one area, but it spreads out over a wide area, right? So if you take this out in your backyard, by the pool, if you take it to the beach, wherever you want to use it, you can really get some great sound coverage with these products.
Now, is this image fairly representative of the actual size of the unit?
It's that one's pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close to actual size. So the 40.
So this isn't a little tiny thing that we're talking about. We're not talking about some 12-inch little speaker. I mean, this has got some size on it.
Yeah, and and you can actually use the speaker to connect to a TV as well. So you have wireless TV connection. So if you wanted to maybe pair it with our outside TV, our terrace TV, you can do that if you want. Yeah, and then use it as an outdoor speaker, right? Because you can still get it wet. But so you have that ability to do it. You can actually daisy chain up to 10 of these together if you wanted to.
Oh wow!
So you can actually do it either wired or wirelessly. So let's say you have a speaker in the house and one outside. You can daisy chain those together so they're playing the same music in both areas. And then have different things like preset EQ settings in there. There's some a DJ sound effects. It has as I mentioned, the wireless TV connection, Bluetooth multi-connection, so you can actually connect two phones at one time to the product instead of just one person controlling the playlist. You can have two people actually sharing in it. So these products are really exciting. Super excited to get these out into the marketplace. It's really it adds to our portfolio of offerings. Really to give the consumers the options to have audio everywhere. So not only on the inside of our sound bars, but to be able to take it outside with these sound towers.
Yeah, and it's exciting because there are a number of features here that are really cool to me, right? So when I think about, all right, I want to have some sound outside, but I don't want to do some kind of permanent solution outdoors, right? And I want something that I can use in multiple locations. This is great. It's
Yeah,
got 18 hours of battery life, and the battery's inside, right? So you plug it up,
built
you
in. Yeah,
charge it, and then you throw it in your car and you go, or you take it outside that morning when you're going to have your grill out party, or that evening when you're going to do some karaoke or whatever, and then yeah, you buy two or three of them, link them, and then you've got sound throughout your whole backyard if you want. That's really
yeah.
cool, right? And 10 of them, that'll cover a lot of space.
Yeah,
So
we actually on our lineups last year, we actually had that ability too of linking and daisy chaining together, and we actually tried doing 10, and it's an amazing sound experience, right? You can really fill up almost like a ballroom, right, with
yeah,
sound quality. So it serves a lot of different purposes, right? A DJ can connect his system to these speakers as well.
sure.
We'll actually be introducing a third model in the second half. That it'll actually be mind blowing in terms of the output power that it's going to have, and
Are you going to bring some
you
more
know,
bass on there or something like that, maybe?
yeah, I'd love to be able to come back and talk a little bit more about that piece when we're getting ready to launch it. But that'll be second half, probably around let's call it late Q3, maybe a little bit sooner.
Yeah, it's interesting too because if you think about it, this is obviously a consumer targeted product, but I can think of some commercial applications for this as well.
Yeah,
Like if you're like a wedding event planner, or you do that kind of thing, and you you need something that's not like a full blown humongous PA system, right? But
yeah,
you can't use these little carry around Bluetooth speakers. You need that kind of mid range solution. Maybe
right.
this big one that you're talking about that's going to be released a little bit later, you get four of those, and then you're covering a pretty decent sized venue. Or maybe you have a set of 10 of them, right? And you have a couple of different crews, but if you need to do a really big area, you just load them all up at one time and you go to town. So
Yeah,
it feels like there could be other applications for this just outside of the personal use.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely a use case that you were just referring to. Absolutely.
And if you've got friends and you guys like to have parties, who's to say that you can't buy one, and your buddy Tom and your buddy Sally, they can buy one as well. And then when you get together, bam, everybody brings them. They work together, right? You don't have to own them all, right? And then
That's a great idea. Yeah,
the more friends come, the more slamming the music is,
that's
right?
right. Yeah.
That's
You
a
need 10 friends. You need 10 friends with a sound tower so you can link them all together.
That's right. What is it? What's it called when you take a group of people and put them together to do something like group sharing, or I forget what the term is, but that's this is how you do your party music with a group of people. Now that's kind
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, I think that covers the items that we wanted to cover today, and from my perspective, these are all cool, but I'm really really super excited about the the frame style television soundbar, because
Yeah.
there's a spot for that in the market that people have been asking for,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I think this is really going to address that well. So Samsung, Mr. Samsung, thanks so much for that one. Anything else you want to cover before we close this one out today? Any final thoughts for everybody out there?
No, so really, just to close it out, I just wanted to first of all just thank you, Giles, of course, for having me back on the show again. But this is really a great platform for me, really to talk about our products and our audio. Right? There's probably a lot of people that maybe haven't considered Samsung, for an audio solution, right?
Hmm.
Or didn't realize that we make sound bars because they maybe they're a mobile phone owner or they're an appliance owner, Samsung, and didn't realize that we make sound bars too. So this is just a really great opportunity and platform me to share, all the great things that we're doing on the home audio side, and talk about some of the new technologies that we're introducing to really not only make life easier for consumers, but to bring a much greater home theater experience into their home. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate that.
Oh no, yeah, thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you. Like I said before, Samsung has been one of my favorite brands for years, and for me, I get to fanboy and geek out a little bit when you come on the show and talk about these things because I love it so much. That's why I do the show, right? So I can talk about these things that I like so much. So thank you for your time, for coming on. Everybody out in the audience, thank you for spending your time with us. There'll be links down below to all of these products in the Samsung website, so you can go check those out and look at it. If you need any more information or if you have questions, feel free to send that stuff into me. You can put them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to make sure that gets to the right location to be answered if I can't just answer it directly. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would be much appreciated. And I think with that, we're going to call it a night. Jim, thank you one more time. And everybody out there, see you guys in the next video.
Awesome. Thank you so much.